I'm so glad you're with us today on the Clark Howard Show. You know, our mission is to serve you with advice and information that empowers you so you make better financial decisions in your life. I want to talk about great new news with 401ks. And later, there's a trend in the country called unretiring. Yeah, unretiring. I want to tell you what it's about and what are the implications for us as a country, and particularly younger workers too. If you're behind on saving for retirement and you're approaching the years that you hope to be able to dump out of work, there's a special provision that Congress passed that starts this year that is weirdly only for people in their early 60s, 60 to 63 years old. And it allows you, when I say this year, I mean, obviously, your elections for 401k for 25. I say obviously, that's what I meant to say. You're allowed to save a crazy amount of money in a workplace 401k. If you're staring down the barrel and not having enough money aside to be able to bag work and having the opportunity over those 4 years to pile money in, it can make a big difference. In just the traditional or Roth version of the 401k, somebody 60 to 63 years old is allowed to put in almost $35,000 into their 401k. The exact amount, $34,750. I mean, this is called super catch-up. That's actually what Congress labeled it, is the super catch-up provision. They didn't allow it for people who are 64 and older. They didn't allow it for people 50 to 59 who are covered by regular catch-up, which now will be 31 grand you're allowed to do per year. And I saw a chart in the Wall Street Journal that they'd taken from Vanguard about what percent of people participate in catch-up. And of people who are earning six figures, 150,000 and above, only a little more than half participate in catch-up. And it may be they're not even aware it exists. Because catch-up really, and particularly super catch-up, is geared towards people at the higher end of the income scale. Maybe when they were younger, they were dealing with paying for kids, and now their kids are out of the nest. And this is an opportunity for catch-up and super catch-up to put more money aside and build up more wealth. Now, I know I've always got this argument from people about whether you should do traditional or Roth, and it's all about your tax rate right now and all that. But as I've said in the past, if you're earning less than a ton of money, let's say 400,000 is what I'm calling above that is a ton, you want to be doing the Roth provision, especially if you're behind on saving for retirement. Because the advantage is that effectively you're saving a lot more money, saving 30 some odd thousand in a Roth 401k versus 30 some odd thousand in a traditional 401k. And then there are some big employers that have something that's on top of this that allows you to do additional money into a 401k that you may not even know exists, but that will allow you to save potentially up to as much as nearly 70 grand in a year. And if you are self-employed, you're a solo employee, you have special privileges at any age in something known as a self-employed or solo 401k that lets you just shove money into retirement accounts. That is a great opportunity, and it's an advantage of being a self-employed individual. coming up ahead. When are you too old to work? When should you bag it? And this thing of people unretiring that has become a real trend ever since we had the inflationary cycle. We're going to talk that through. People look at work so differently one to another. And when I talk to people in the financial industry about, who work with clients, and my friend Jonathan Clements and I have talked about this whole thing, that there are people who love what they do, love work, and can't imagine not working. I fit in that category. I love working. When I don't love working anymore, I have the great privilege of having enough money that I won't have to work. I choose to work and look forward to it. And there are people who can't stand their job, can't stand it, and count every single day till they can bag work. They might have a countdown clock on their phone, counting down till they're done. Who knows? They hate work, and they want out the door. And so people have all different motivations. There are people who can't wait to retire, do so, and then find they're bored to death. And they'll maybe go back to work part-time. But the biggest thing that's happened in recent times is people are going back to work because they gotta. That they thought they were set financially, got into retirement and realized, I don't have enough money. I can't pay my bills. I can't do anything because I don't have enough money. And I saw a Kiplinger item that the number of people who were retired going back to work is an all-time record percent. We had the inflationary cycle, but also people live longer typically than they expect. And you got to make that money last a long, long time. So my thing is phasing out of work. I think that's a really important thing to do because a lot of people look at it as all or nothing. That's the mistake that I think people make. It's too much a shock to most people's system, forgetting money for a second, to go from working, that's what you do 5 days a week, to not working at all. A lot of people just can't handle that because there's not enough. You may have decided, I'm going to fish all the time, or I'm going to play golf, or I'm going to do this, that, or the other. And it's not enough to fill your days. And you get bored. And you may even find yourself boring at that point. So work part-time keeps people engaged. If you take early Social Security, age 62, which so many people do, it's an argument for a different day why I like people to wait till age 70. But if you have taken it really early and you're like, hey, that's not enough money for me to live on, or I don't have enough to do, you can do some amount of work, part-time work, and not get punished for earning that money. There's a limit that you can earn. And be involved, be active in some way. It's just a strong belief that I have that people look at this as a light switch. Today I work full-time, tomorrow I work not at all. And it doesn't work for most of us. You got to think about both of those things. The need for money and the need for purpose, meaning, routine, activity, whatever it is.